Justice. Justice. Justice, if you fall asleep one more time in my class, you're going to detention.
Are you watching Last of Us?
No, I'm waiting for all the episodes to come out and then I watch it. I don't want to wait.
I've seen a lot of clips on TikTok and Instagram.
Same.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, of course. You guys are lame, dude. Like,
Well, I have a life. I have school to work on.
I also have a life.
I have
a job to work at.
Me
Like,
too. I
come
have
on.
2 internships.
is
What
that
are
more
you
important,
doing?
or is HBO?
Why do we care about HBO when we could be making
Because
okay, let's just
it's
start.
the
we could be
pinnacle of
making
television.
bank instead?
Okay, hey, oh, I got a riddle for you.
For who?
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind, but when it's denied, it's violence you may find.
Wait, can I read the card?
A dog.
Riddle me this. It can be cruel, poetic, or blind.
But when it's denied, it's violence you may find.
Wait, could you repeat that?
Does this have to do with The Last of Us? Is that why you were asking?
Poetic?
No, it's
confuses
a riddle
me.
from the Riddler in Batman, and the answer is...
Vengeance.
No, it's justice.
Justice.
Huh?
The answer's justice.
Justice? Did you see this Batman movie?
I did. With Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Are
What do you-
crying? Are you...
It affected you, Batman.
Well, I thought Robert Pattinson was like a really emo Bruce Wayne. I thought it was really funny.
Isn't that how Bruce Wayne should be?
Yeah, because like Christian Bale was like, love him. But like, I don't know, I thought Robert Pattinson played the like orphan, sad, never comes out of his man cave better.
I liked it, but we're not here to talk about Batman.
Oh, that's
We're going to
true.
talk about Twilight.
What are we here to talk about?
Brazil.
Okay, so then why is this movie floating around in your mind? Like, why did it stick with you?
I don't know if you've read The Trial by Franz Kafka.
Mm-mm.
It's about like bureaucracy and the never-ending bureaucracy of like trying to get anything done, which is impossible in certain governments. And I'm a really big Kafka reader and fan, so...
Do you personally fear bureaucracy?
I understand I'm personally am not like, the government's out to get me. Like, obviously I'm afraid of like America becoming an authoritarian government and society. But, you know.
Dianne is on the way to being promoted once she finishes a couple more forms. Brazil. It's a movie by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Did the plot stick with you? Like, do you remember anything?
Yeah. He works in the Ministry of Information or whatever. And he falls in love with this girl he sees in his dreams. And then he meets her and he tries to chase her down. And he's telling her, like, I love you. And she's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, I see you in my dreams. And she's like, that's really weird. And so he jumps into her truck. And...
Can I stop you at this point?
Okay.
Because, like, okay, this is the part where I don't know if I'm missing something or if it's just an older movie. How do you interpret what's going on with their relationship?
I thought it was really weird. There's like this random ass man like chasing after this girl, and he's like
he's lame and he's a part of the machine, and like he's not charming, like you know, but he has this dream about this beautiful woman and he's free and like, okay, I get that, but she's like this tough woman who's like independent. Like, why would she put up with him at all?
Well, she tries not to. Like in the beginning, she's like, I don't like want anything to do with you. She tries to throw him out of his car, and he's like hanging on to the nose of the car. But like, I guess he kind of just like grows on her, like
just
through
because
their little.
He doesn't die?
Yeah, he like sticks. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
Is that all it takes
No.
to win over a woman?
No.
Okay, well, I mean, that's just the part where I found it very strange. The rest of it, I'm on board with how crazy and strange it is.
Yeah.
But I just think he's such a loser of a
He
character.
is.
Where I'm surprised that's who we're following.
Yeah.
But I guess like the whole point is what, that he's a product of that system. Like that's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Is like you are completely disconnected from real human interaction and like being able to see anything that's going on around you.
I have a bloody nose.
Okay, you're promoted. What is the point of bureaucracy?
Like, how do you mean?
Why?
To keep people in check.
Is there a benefit, or is it just there for the authoritarians?
Sorry. I don't know.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? What happened?
Bloody nose.
Just out of nowhere? Do you
Yeah.
feel lightheaded?
No. I get bloody noses pretty often.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
What was I talking about?
The benefits.
Yeah, what
if
are the
they
benefits of
existent.
yeah.
I wouldn't say there are too many. I mean, of course, government is important in any society. But I mean, like, at a certain point, like, it stops, like, becoming government and just becoming control.
Obviously, we want freedom, and then you need to start putting in a couple of rules.
Yeah.
And then it gets more complicated. And in the movie, you arrive at this point where it's over.
Yeah.
Like now we're just living in a pile of shit. Everything is paperwork and tubes and like there's
Yeah.
nothing else going on. The government seems to only exist in order to maintain itself,
Yeah.
and it's not doing anything for people. And like we know that's bad, but I kind of think we can't go all the way in the other direction. And I don't know how we're ever going to figure out that balance. I think it's just going to be an endless
Yeah.
pendulum.
I
of
agree.
like, thank you.
Just, you're welcome.
Okay, do you know about the back rooms?
The what?
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. It's like basically you get stuck in this area, and then like it's like some rooms are like for eternity, and it's just like you have to be all these monsters or whatever to get out.
Okay, so why is that urban legend so popular with young people, do you think? Because it's not an old person thing. Why is it about being lost in these endless hallways and it's like it becomes a maze or a labyrinth, and the look of it is
An office space?
like an office space? Why does that sit in people's minds as a nightmare?
Like, for the younger generation, I feel we really don't want, like, the 9-to-5, like, monotonous,
That is so
like,
fucking
Desk
very...
job.
Yeah,
people.
and so I feel like the setting itself, how it derives from that fear and then sort of creates, like, this really unnerving, like, atmosphere. It just sort of plays on our fear of the future, like, of society.
That's what I'm getting to. That's why I was hoping you were more aware of it, because I think it sort of represents your generation's nightmarish view of like going into the corporation
Yeah.
or the government and the bureaucracy and these endless hallways. It is the maze of pointless effort. The previous settings of nightmares is kind of like the woods, right? Or a dark place. It's unknown. And this is a new fear. It's like brightly lit, but you're in a corporate environment. Anyway.
Yeah. I have a lot of nightmares about being, like, in a pit. Like, hear me out. Like, I have, like, recurring nightmares about being, like, trapped in, like, a valley.
Please describe the setting further. Like,
We're stuck in a pit with
Like-
Brad Pitt.
wait, hold on. How did
He's actually a political tool. Brad Pitt's a political tool. But, like, they're, like, cliffs, like, all around me. And, like, I just can't get out.
So how would you diagnose Justice?
I say that she should seek psychiatric help.
That's what my sister says.
No,
She says, Justin, you should be on meds. She told me that.
I wonder what it's telling us about your inner fear.
Well, like, I was talking to my dad, and my dad, when he was in college, kept a dream journal, and he wrote down, like, every dream he had, and he put, like, he would connect them. He put a star next to each one that was about whatever, and, like, the majority of his dreams were about, like, labyrinths.
I know people don't like it gets boring to get into dreams and people think it's bullshit if you overanalyze dreams or whatever, but I think there is something there
Yeah.
that is an abstract reading of your thought process or things you're kind of unaware of. And like stuck in a labyrinth, I totally relate to, just in life in general. And you're being stuck in a pit. Is that like...
Is a pit your worst fear?
No.
It's just the
I really hate fire.
just like
Do you have any dreams
Wait,
about
it's a fire pit? What are you
No,
talking...
no, no. She was asking what my worst fear was, and I said fire.
is it hell?
No, it's not hell.
Have you had like a dream where it was like you were in fire?
No.
It's just like
I've had
the,
dreams where like it's my worst fear.
Is it just like the fear of not being able to like get out of something, or the fear of feeling stuck,
I
or
don't
maybe
know.
not
Like-
having the motivation to get out, or
Dianne,
yeah.
have you had dreams about your worst fear?
Well, I don't know what my worst fear is. It's like, but I do get what you're
Or
saying
like-
with like your subconscious feeding into your dreams, because
Or
your
like
dreams
just
are
like a
made
fear in general. Like
in your subconscious.
my worst dream as a kid was like this pterodactyl chasing me and hold on, it's a pterodactyl chasing me, and if it gets you then you turn into a doll, because dolls used to be my worst fear, and then if you were the last person alive to get touched by this pterodactyl in the fucking world, you would say a doll forever. That was my worst dream.
I'm
that I
so
had as a
curious about the pterodactyl part.
Let me. Okay. You guys don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
I've told few about this.
You're telling
But
the
when
whole
I was
world?
like a child, and there was this one episode on Gravity Falls about like,
This is not about Brazil.
no. Let me just get this out. So, on Gravity Falls, there were like these like wax figures, and then they would come alive like at night or something. And then there was this, and then there were like all wax figures of like these political like people, or like some important people in history. And then when I was a kid, I used to, when I closed my eyes, I used to envision stop. I used to envision Abraham Lincoln towering over.
Like watching you.
Next
you
to my
sleep.
bed. So I would be so scared to open my eyes. I'm like,
Presiding
"Fuck,
over you like
Abraham
he
Lincoln
presides
is
over
watching me."
America.
Anyways, that's far off the point.
I really want to
I think we
investigate.
should dive into that.
I want to diagnose all of you, but let's. I'm going to effortlessly transition back into the movie. Can you diagnose him based on his dream? So
he's lonely.
Well, but what else? So Jonathan Pryce, what's his name in the movie?
Lowry.
A lame name.
A lame name.
In a lame world with a lame life, but not in his dream.
Yeah, he can fly.
He can fly.
And
what else?
he defeats the monsters to try and protect her.
Yeah, and what are the monsters?
A brick hand.
What?
No.
So what is that about? Let's go piece by piece, because I found the dreams really interesting.
They're like walking through. She's like walking. He's like flying above her in the clouds, and he's like watching her like in this kind of like not like city, but like kind of like alleyway. Like there's walls around her.
I remember like those buildings coming
Yeah.
up. That's first, right?
The buildings come up around.
So you're
her.
in this you're in the clouds. You're in beautiful nature, and then the city
Yeah.
line. What do you call that? The
skyscraper. Like
the
just
skyscrapers
buildings.
start showing up out
Yeah.
of nowhere, destroying his peaceful environment.
Yeah, and then like these like hands made out of like stone or brick or whatever, like gray.
And I think they're Ian Holmes' hands, his boss in the beginning.
Oh, really?
I think that's him. So he's imagining that boss is holding him down to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then what else? There's babies. There's the samurai
Babies.
man.
Oh, there is a samurai.
What's that about?
I remember that. I don't remember what it was about.
I don't know that Terry Gilliam is working with precise symbols. Like I think a lot of
Yeah.
this he's coming up. It's not necessarily he's like coming up with this in his dreams, but he's working in an abstract way. Where some of it is very easy for me to read. The feeling of like those buildings showing up.
Yeah.
The samurai feels like this really powerful force. The front line of the bureaucracy, right? Or like the people doing the work. And then you have these baby things.
Babies?
Or
I'm not
they were
remembering
like
this.
weird monster people with like this baby head. Remember that? It's the same head that
Maybe.
his friend was wearing in the very end.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. I remember the head. I don't remember the dream sequence about it, but I remember the head.
I think they showed up a bunch in the dreams.
I think they must have.
I wonder what version of the movie you watched. Do you know? How did it end?
It ended. He was in the big, empty reactor coolant facility. I don't know. It was very confusing.
Well, like the last act, or like the last however long, 20 minutes or something, it's just this dream sequence where they're torturing him, and then he's imagining his escape.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro shows up.
Yeah, he imagines his escape, and then it realizes like, no,
he's not really escaping.
Not actually. He's just getting tortured.
I know Kung Fu. Okay, I think we saw the same ending, the director's cut, where it's revealed that his escape is all a dream.
Yeah.
And then you have his friend who's wearing the baby mask. And so that's why, like, that's the first time you see it in real life.
Yeah.
So what is that baby mask about? Is there something like infantile about the people who are working in the system? Like his friend is just a cog in the machine. But why is he not a warrior? He's a baby or something. I don't know.
I thought it was just really scary.
Maybe it's just a scary
I thought it
image.
was just really scary. Maybe it does mean like innocence or something. But he's not really innocent.
Well, especially that dude. I forget his name, but he's definitely not innocent. So I don't know what that... Maybe it's just scary, you're right.
Maybe it's just... I don't know.
It's okay.
So he's having a very different dream than anything that we were describing.
Yeah.
Have you
He
ever
has a
had this
dream
kind of
about
flying
pits.
dream?
Yeah, but not like I'm flying through like clouds and stuff. I've had dreams of like flying through like a city.
Yeah, I
Like,
flew around my
swooping,
neighborhood.
Like...
And then I got in VR after.
Oh, really?
And I went to Google Earth and I flew around my neighborhood.
That's so cool. I've never done that. My parents are anti-VR.
It's a weird place to draw the line because you're allowed to have a social media in your phone.
But like, I'm not like living in my phone.
Well, show us your screen time.
It's 6 hours. Yeah, but like
So it's
I have
almost a
life.
full-time
I
job.
have sailing on Sundays. I have horseback riding Saturdays and Fridays. I have jiu-jitsu
Oh, great.
Monday,
You're a great
Tuesday,
human being. You're
Thursday,
very
and
unusual
Friday.
for a young person.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
I'm assuming she's doing better than you guys.
Wow, what is that? Actually,
This is
my
why we
average
shouldn't
time.
assume.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You didn't even
You're
ask
like,
us our screen
what's your
time.
screen
middle-aged-
time?
My screen time is probably about...
You're like, hold on, you're like a middle-aged man.
I don't do any of the shit that Justice does. It's lame.
It's hard to be me.
Kailee and I have many jobs. Kailee
Yeah.
takes dance practices.
Yeah, I do.
Dance
I dance.
classes. I advocate for my community and I have two
Representation.
internships.
Is your representation.
You ever been on a horse, Dianne? You ever
Yes,
do
I
horseback
have.
riding?
I've tried
You should come
before.
visit Will sometime. He's a good horse.
Who's Will?
Have you horseback ride?
Well, when I was a little kid...
Jesse, to be honest with you, we at least like it's on our phones. Like we bring our phones outside. At least we go outside. But didn't you have a podcast on VR online and you just sit in your house? And
Hey, you guys want to diagnose Salome really quick?
Changing the subject
Oh
away
my.
from... Okay.
I think she has the same fantasy as Jonathan Pryce or Lowry, whatever his name is. Definitely.
Are you calling her insane then?
No, I think she
Like
wants to get the
flying.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know what to call this. It's not society. It's, I can't just say bureaucracy. I mean, the movie is a lot about escapism. Everyone's trying to escape.
Yeah.
They're watching old movies. He's dreaming about shit. The whole movie's called Brazil. They're just thinking about let's go to Brazil.
Well, it's because of the ending credits song.
I thought Brazil was really about like a movie in Brazil.
No,
not-
it doesn't take
No.
place in Brazil. But I really appreciate the dream logic, right? I think that's how you get to me in a lot of ways. You have to get abstract enough where you're almost getting me into a dream state.
Sorry. She threw something at me.
Because she said.
And then it feels like you're getting deeper into my brain,
Yeah.
right? And it's not even to have a specific solution or something to think about. It's just like, here's a nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
And like, how's that nightmare going to affect you and change the way you look at the world?
I'm going to be really honest. Like, dream sequences and like drug sequences and like visions, I really don't like in movies.
Is it because it feels like a gimmick or a shortcut for the filmmaker?
I think a lot of times it does, yeah.
Like in this movie actually does the cliche of like, it was just a dream, right? Like they get 20 minutes of doing whatever they want
Yeah.
and then the character wakes up at the end and you're like, oh, none of that happened.
Well, I like that because he wakes up, he's still being tortured.
Yeah, I think
And
in
it's
this
like a
movie
wake up
might
to
be
reality.
the exception. The way
Yeah,
it
that's
works.
what I think, yeah.
I think it works in this movie because the whole movie is about escapism,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like living in a fantasy. And so we'll just let the whole last part of the movie be a fantasy.
Yeah. You know what horrified me? The plastic surgery situation with like the mom or whoever it was had her like face like wrapped.
And like there's
Her
this weird
face.
competition between the two moms
Yeah.
of like who's gonna get younger. And it's
Yeah.
obviously falling apart, and
Yeah.
the surgeons are full of shit,
Yeah.
and like they just keep getting worse, and their bodies are like disintegrating in front of us.
Yeah.
The big payoff is that in the end, when he looks at his mom, it looks like the girl that he loves, that he's been dreaming
I
about.
did not recognize that.
So a lot of cool, disturbing stuff. So wait, why did that stick out to you? Just because of the way it looked?
I like really, really hate plastic surgery. And whenever I like see it like overdone or something like that, I just have like a very negative reaction to it.
Yeah, like I don't want to judge people, but I have kind of that same feeling a lot of the time.
judge
Like
them.
I know there's a lot of
I do.
exceptions and whatever,
Yeah.
but like this movie takes it to the extreme where you just see how sad it is for these
Yeah.
people. And I guess it's kind of relating to the escapism or like not wanting to live in the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
They don't want to die.
Yeah, a lot of people are in denial.
I don't know, specifically for women, because you guys were describing that scene of like two moms, right? I feel like because women are put on such a high pedestal of like beauty standards and like, oh, if you're young, then everyone wants you. It's like the golden age to be a woman. But if you're like old, the older you get, the uglier you get. So age equates to like one's worth as a woman. Like, have you...
Is that changing?
No, not at all.
No.
It's like, especially with social media now, like the standards of beauty have like, for women have like increased significantly more, especially because we're also exposed to it. And like youth equating to beauty has just been like the norm now. Like people are so afraid to get older because of that like standard that society sets.
It's so interesting because like the times have changed, and to some degree people are more aware that you don't want this to be the value of a woman. When I was young, right, like they're advertising to us with all these beautiful supermodels, right? And then at some point we were like, oh, that's not cool. And now you guys are growing up where you see 1,000 supermodels, but they're not real people. They're like, they have filters. It's normal people taking the best picture of themselves possible, doing a bunch of posts to make them as beautiful as possible. And so how could you ever have a realistic vision of what an actual human being looks like?
Like we don't, and that's the point. That's like the problem. Our standards are unreachable and like can never be upheld.
So now
Like-
what?
Don't ask me.
All right, so you got a solution? We're in your head.
We're in my head.
Wait, are we in a dream right now? Are you going to wake up and we're not going to exist anymore?
I wanted to save Dianne and Kailee
Yeah, from the evil, treacherous.
from the pit.
From Jesse.
Do you,
It was Brad Pitt and Jesse.
Brad Pitt, the political weapon.
like when you have your bureaucratic nightmares and there's a samurai and all these figures that represent the evil of...
pterodactyls and baby.
Well, when you have dreams about the authoritarians, oppressing you, it's not me, right?
You know,
Like, I'm not the villain.
that is like, I don't know if I want to answer that.
I don't know. I'm just sad. Like, I don't want to be him, right? I don't want to be a
Yeah.
person in the machine who is a part of the nightmare, making
Yeah.
things worse for everyone, and then just fantasizing at night, having a dream about being free and flying around like,
Yeah.
oh, life's not so bad, and then being a part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
What was your weirdest dream?
I had this dream. So I was trying to walk up to talk to this person in the hall, but I couldn't. There was like an invisible barrier, and I couldn't get through. And I'm like banging my head against this invisible wall, right?
That's your first like.
And then I wake up and I realize, oh, that was a dream. And I look over at my door and the glass is all broken. And I'm like, oh, I was trying to get out of my room in my dream. And then I feel my throat and there's just blood everywhere. And then I woke up. So it was like two
Oh my
layers
God.
of like,
That's
I know
so
I was
crazy.
dreaming. I just like injured myself on the glass door. Oh, that was also a dream.
Was that like a fever dream or something? Was there
No,
something
this is
going
a regular
on?
old nightmare. What are we doing? I think we're. What movie?
Bruh.
Hello? Justice, wake up. Wake up. Justice, wake up. Now you're going to detention.
I was just at detention.
No, you weren't. You just slept through my entire class.
What? No.
As twilight beams the sky above, recalling thrills of our love.